Isn't it great when you realize that something that you thought of yourself is an actual thing with a name? It's wild. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kayla, and this is where we talk all about project management in lean teams and startup organizations. First off, I want to say hello and thank you to all of my subscribers. Thanks for hanging out with me and watching and liking and commenting. I really appreciate you guys. And to anyone new who's watching for the first time, welcome. I invite you to subscribe and let me know what questions you have. Let me know your comments. I'm really interested in this area of project management with small teams, and I want to know how I can help you. Okay, on to today's topic. And this is something I get asked a lot, like not only from clients that I work with, but from friends and family, from just random people that I meet, because it's pretty obvious that I'm this like type A project manager-y type of person. And people are always wondering and asking, how do you get everything done, like every day, all day? How are you so productive? The first thing I want to say is I don't. Like, that's an illusion, okay? And if you are putting anyone on that pedestal in life, take a step back and re-examine, because there's no one perfect that gets things done like all day, every day, all the time. We all have our off days. I have my off days. I have my off weeks, months, whatever. Like I've gone through burnout before, and it's not pretty. So there's no one out there that's perfect, but I do get asked this question a lot because I am just like an organized person who does get a lot of things done. And in order to get a lot of things done, I have to decide that I want to get a lot of things done. I have to make that a priority in my life. For me, it just happens to be that. Like, I don't feel as though I'm forcing myself to make that a priority. It just happens to be in my DNA, where I like to set goals, and I like to achieve things and work towards things and become a better version of myself, or whatever I believe that to be. So that would be the first step, is like, you have to want that for yourself. The second step is, you have to plan this. Like, it doesn't just happen. So there's an element of planning that occurs. And I've figured out, for me, at this point in my life, because like it's changed depending on where I'm at in my life, like what's happening and whatever, it looks different for me. It has looked different for me at different points in my life. I've used different tools and techniques, and what works for me now hasn't worked for me in the past and might not work for me in the future and may not work for you. But it works for me now, and that's what I'll share with you. And it's so basic, guys. Like, it's so easy and so basic. I don't use any fancy tools or like techniques or anything. Nothing like that. It's literally like, I make a list, which I love lists. I make a list. That's what I do. But I do have some like strategy around it. So the first thing that I want to do is introduce you to the idea of the thought download. And I learned this from Brooke Castillo, who is this amazing life coach. If you don't know who she is, check her out, because she's really changed the way that I think about things in many ways, like for the better for me. So she has this concept called the thought download. And essentially what it is you take everything that's in your mind and you download it onto a piece of paper. There's something in the act of doing that and like writing it down that kind of like frees you from, I don't know, some weird attachments that you have to those things in your mind, and you're able to look at those items with a little different perspective. So for me, I'm able to judge those things a little more in terms of like, okay, what's the priority for this? So the first time I did this, I had a lot of stuff on my list, and I eliminated a lot of it, and I started becoming more organized and strategic about how I get stuff done. So now when I do a thought download, it's something I can do every morning, and it's not overwhelming at all. It's pretty manageable. So that's what my first step is to do a thought download every morning, and then I just literally like prioritize it based on, okay, is it a client call? In theory, I would have to do the client call today. Do I have a deliverable that is due today? Okay, in theory, that's something that's also a high priority, right? Like I have a deliverable that needs to go out. I've done this enough now to where there's not too much on the list. I try to make time every day for things that move me toward my goals. Like right now, I have a goal of content creation. So I try to do something every day that moves me toward that goal. That way, at the end of every week, I could be like, okay, I released 2 videos or 3 videos or whatever it is that I want to do. So I try to make time for that. I'm a freelancer now, so I need to make time for administrative tasks like invoicing. So I build that into my schedule. I have other things that I do, like client work that needs to happen, and I've found that time blocking is really the best way for me to do that. So that's what I do every morning is I download this stuff out, and I just create a schedule. And I'll show you too. I'll show you, it's on my whiteboard back here is where I usually do this. So I'll just show you what that looks like for me. It's super basic and super simple. Hopefully I'm getting a lot better with iMovie. Don't laugh. I'm getting a lot better at iMovie. So hopefully I can show you that while I'm talking, because I think that's a pretty cool edit. Okay, so that's essentially what I do. And I recently learned, I think I had heard of this before, the Ivy Lee method. Which is, I looked it up over here. The Ivy Lee method is a 100-year-old strategy for helping people become more productive at work. Under the Ivy Lee method, at the end of each night, you write down your 6 most important tasks to accomplish the following day in order of importance. The next day, you begin working on the tasks one at a time. So this is essentially what I do, except for I don't make the list the night before. I make it that morning. Isn't it great when you realize that something that you thought of yourself is an actual thing with a name? It's wild. So apparently I use the Ivy Lee method. And if there's ever stuff that I don't get to that day, because it happens, right? Either I put it off on purpose. Yes, I have those things that I'll put off for weeks sometimes. And there's 2 sides. I love how there's 2 sides of myself. And one side is you really need to do this thing. And the other side is do I have to? And then finally 3 weeks later, I'll do the thing. But yeah, sometimes I have things like that bleed over for days, weeks, months at a time. But usually I don't. Usually I'm starting with a clean slate, and it really helps me. And I've learned that making this list every day is really the key, because there's been times in my life where I have tried to plan things too far in advance. I've tried to plan my week at a time, or even my month at a time. I've tried to plan my year. And I've learned that life doesn't happen like that. And the more open I am to, or flexible, I guess, with my time, then the more I actually achieve. But I do need some structure. So that's why making the structure for myself with my day, adding in some flexibility there, and then reevaluating it every day is really what has helped me push forward with things that I want to get done. So that's what I do. But like I say, it may not work for you. It may not be the best solution for you. What do you do? Do you have a productivity hack that you've discovered that really works for you? I would love to hear. Please share in the comments. And I hope this has been helpful for you. I'll see you next time.